Max Verstappen battled hard to gain pole position in the first race of the season, but retired to mechanical failures from his Red Bull. At the season opener in Bahrain, the F1 world could easily agree that Verstappen and his Red Bull teammate lost good positions due to reliability. After the race, Hamilton, who looked likely to not gain pole position before the Red Bull unfortunate incident, subtly fired a dig at Red Bull. The Brit wasn't at his electric best during the opening race of the season, but the retirement of his two rivals allowed him to clinch third in the standings. Although he was unable to clinch first on the podium on Sunday, his performance in Bahrain foretells a solid performance in the coming weeks and months ahead. Verstappen and Perez were both able to keep pace with Ferrari's Charles Leclerc for the majority of the race, but in the closing stages were forced to retire. Both men were unhappy with their vehicles in the immediate aftermath, while Christian Horner conceded there were similar issues with the car. Hamilton currently believes that Mercedes has done a better job at preparing for racing, especially after he mentioned that the Red Bulls were looking notably fast. However, Lewis Hamilton has said that he will take a more aggressive approach when racing Max Verstappen in 2022, but that his current priority is to tame Mercedes' new F1 car. Hamilton explained after the Bahrain test that there would be plenty of homework ahead for himself and Mercedes after the team suffered from several issues, including prominent porpoising across the preseason. He said, "As a team, it was relatively smooth, but it wasn't smooth for me, for any of us drivers. It wasn't necessarily smooth out there. It was obviously a surprise, I think, for us as a sport to see the new changes of the cars and the effects of the changes. We're discovering bit by bit the limitations of our car and know that we have a lot of work to do." After the test, Hamilton nonetheless played down expectations of Mercedes finding a silver bullet between the final preseason test and the opening race. He said, "I don't expect that we've made a huge amount of progress. The car naturally was fresher. As you come into a test, you have a new engine, you have new components, but it is still the car from last week. We obviously have learned a lot from the week of testing here. I hope that we have taken some sort of step forward through that understanding of where we position the car, but we will find out." When the 2021 world champion Max Verstappen poked fun at Mercedes and Hamilton by joking that they will be dead last with their awful car, he continued to make remarks about their preseason form, which clearly didn't go well. Hamilton exclaimed that his aggression isn't from a place of grudge, but a place of competition. Hamilton said, "I don't hold any grudges. I don't have any baggage coming into the season. I think it is important to let go. All I can do is try to shape what's up ahead of me, and I know I can't change the past." While there are concerns about the Mercedes Challenger, the opening race of the season was quite dramatic, where Hamilton and Russell struggled to gain pole position, but weren't any match for Ferrari and Red Bull. In a twist of events, or sheer mechanical failure, Hamilton found himself on pole, third after the two Ferrari drivers. The aggression Hamilton spoke about was subtly witnessed in Bahrain, after the driver comfortably survived a number of duels. The Mercedes driver was on course for fifth place for much of the race until Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez encountered problems in the final laps. Verstappen pulled into the pits with 3 laps to go after slowing, while Perez's car spun to a stop at turn 1 on the final lap, following a seized engine. Hamilton was the first driver to pass the stationary Red Bull on his way to third place behind the Ferrari drivers. On the radio, he said, mega job. Thank you so much for the hard work. Reliability is so important. Appreciate it." Hamilton's race engineer Peter Bonington told him, "We think Verstappen had an issue with the ERS system. Perez, not sure what happened to them." Speaking after the race, Hamilton said the Red Bull drivers had been unlucky to encounter problems so close to the end of the Grand Prix. "It was such a difficult race. We've struggled throughout practice. This is really the best result we could have got. Of course, it was unfortunate for the other two drivers, but we did the best we could, and we're grateful for these points." Mercedes began the weekend on the back foot, struggling for pace in qualifying. Hamilton qualified fifth, but was over 0.6 of a second off pace, and never looked a contender for a podium finish until the final laps. The team bagged their first podium position in the opening race of 2022, but the Mercedes driver still believes the car could do with better improvements. He mentioned that the improvements to the car will not arrive immediately. I know the guys are working really hard back at the factory, and it's not going to be a quick turnaround. But we all know as a team, I do feel like we've been the best unified team for so long. I know that we all know that. Just keep your head down, keep working. It's a long, long way to go. With the season barely underway, Hamilton sits third in the driver's standings and 15 points clear of the last season rival, Red Bull. We might get to see more aggression from Hamilton through the season, but currently it is difficult to ascertain whether the driver's strategy will work against Red Bull. If you enjoyed the video, like and share the video with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe and ring the notifications bell to stay tuned.